day. More rides, new life, new gigs, new this, new that. My home, my place, bigger days.
Hey, what's up, Realistic Randy, mediocre at best podcast. However it is that you're supporting this show, we definitely appreciate it. Going to talk some NBA stuff. The Cavs, they're struggling on their way to the end of the regular season and into the playoffs. And are they in trouble? Could they possibly lose to the Boston Celtics as far as what everyone's talking about? That's the new headline this week. Because the Cavs have been struggling. The Celtics, they've got the number one seed as of right now. Will the Cavs lose? Is the reign of terror for the Cleveland Cavaliers over with? We'll talk about that coming up. But first, I want to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. It's been a couple of weeks since I've talked about them. Last that I talked about them, Adrian Peterson, he was released. He's still looking for a team in free agency so far. Maybe he'll land with a team after the draft. And I also pointed out the offensive line. I don't want to be this. I just don't want, because the thing is, here's the thing about the Minnesota Vikings. I love this team. I love this team with everything that I have. I've been a fan for about 17 years. Ever since I watched Randy Moss play, I was hooked ever since. That was my team that I've been following faithfully year after year after year. And I was that guy that would go out of my way to support them when everyone would trash the Vikings. They'd be like, who the hell is the Vikings? Every year I'd be that fan that's like, no, we got a chance to win. You don't really understand how this team works. You just got to have some faith. It's all right. I know this team. They'll bounce back. And then they would constantly disappoint you. But then it got to a point where it's like, okay, I need to see things objectively, not just, bleed purple all the time, whatever. I don't want to be this, be on repeat, the CD that's playing this track over and over again as far as going over the offensive line. Right now, I really don't have much expectations, or I don't know really what to expect for this upcoming 2017 season because of the moves, or the lack thereof, moves that they've made on the offensive line and free agency. But first, I don't want to go into that all that much. I want to just talk about the overall Vikings free agency and what's going on right now. And, of course, I'll talk about the offensive line. That won't be it. But lost out on Captain Munnerlyn, so we haven't signed a cornerback to replace him, assuming that we're going to be using Mackenzie Alexander, assuming that he steps in. His rookie year was last year. He didn't really play much, so I don't know if the head coach or the coaching staff has much faith in him. We lost Captain Munnerlyn. We signed Terrence Newman again, so that's really good. Maybe Trey Waynes can step in the slot corner. I don't know. Right now, the slot corner is up for grabs for anyone to get. Hopefully, someone can step in and get that. We signed Latavius Murray to replace Adrian Peterson. As far as the overall value, Pat Shurmur's offense and the extra protection we need for Sam Bradford to stay healthy and some versatility to not be as predictable on offense, especially when Adrian Peterson was out there on the field. I do like that signing. As far as if Adrian Peterson had a quality offensive line, I do believe that he'll rack up maybe 1,100, 1,200 yards. It's just he's not very versatile in anything else but running the football. So I'm okay with Latavius Murray. He's a versatile running back. He can pass protect. He can catch out the backfield. He had the Oakland Raiders offensive line last year, which was one of the best in the NFL, and he still averaged about 4 yards a carry, which isn't really saying much. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Latavius Murray does with the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. And getting to that, they signed Riley Reef to replace Matt Khalil. I'm totally fine with that. Mike Remmers to replace essentially Andre Smith, or hopefully to start over TJ Clemmings. Here's the thing about, and I'm going to just say this one more time. I'm not going to keep harping back on this time and time again every single week. That's why I don't really talk about the Vikings much, because they haven't really done much to really give me any hope or any really sense of positivity to say, okay, maybe things will look better this upcoming season, because Matt Clausen of Pro Football Focus, this is after the Minnesota Vikings signed Mike Remmers to hopefully start over TJ Clemmings, because right now it looks like they're competing for the right tackle spot. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. Matt Clausen of Pro Football Focus compared stats between TJ Clemmings and Mike Remmers. This was last year. And granted, yes, I know Mike Remmers was playing out of position. We'll talk about that in just a second. TJ Clemmings, 112 total pressures, including 17 sacks on almost 1,100 pass protection snaps, 1,089, so 1,089 pass protection snaps. That's one pressure every 10 snaps. Mike Remmers had 105 pressures, including 18 sacks on 1,269 pass protection snaps. That's one pressure on every 12. So basically, my whole comparison saying that Mike Remmers and TJ Clemmings, they're essentially the same, or Mike Remmers is slightly better than TJ Clemmings, is because of that. Because with TJ Clemmings, remember, we all up in arms about TJ Clemmings. We know how bad that he's been the last 2 years, whether it's at right tackle or left tackle spot. We're all up in arms. TJ Clemmings, we can't have anyone. We need someone to just replace him because he's just so god-awful. He averages 1 pressure on every 10 pass protection snaps. Mike Remmers is 1 in 12. Really? It's not that much better than TJ Clemmings. So that's my beef with that. Riley Reiff, to give you a comparison to the other tackle that we signed, Riley Reiff, the last 4 years, Riley Reiff has averaged 46 total pressures a year. So that's including pass protection, and run blocking as well. 46 total pressures a year on average. That's about average as far as what Pro Football Focus states as well. So I don't understand how this whole idea that suddenly everyone, I'm sure not everyone thinks this way, but I've seen a couple of Facebook groups, Twitter page, a couple of Vikings fans out there that are like, oh, well, we got our tackles. They're not as bad as TJ Clemmings. Yes, he's god awful. He's been terrible. Much respect to him. He came in as I believe a defensive lineman from Pitt, I believe, and got converted to an offensive lineman. But I'm sorry, based on the stats alone, the fact that Mike Remmers, he's been on like 5 teams in the last 6 years. And people say, well, he played out of position last year. Well, that's okay. You'd have a point. But according to Pro Football Focus, again, I'm going to go back to them. This is just basically all that they're saying. They basically said that the Vikings paid a hefty price. I'm paraphrasing what they're saying. But they said the Vikings paid a pretty hefty price for Mike Remmers to hopefully be that to have as good of a season as he had in 2015, because last year he didn't play well. He was playing out of position. He played left tackle, but right tackle he played in 2015, and according to Pro Football Focus, he played 16. Now, you can find us on NFL.com, ESPN.com, whatever. He started 16 games in 2015, and according to Pro Football Focus, that 2015 season that they're saying that the Vikings are hoping that he can bounce back to as far as being his best year, according to them, they're saying he only had 5 decent games. So what are we saying? And we got 16 games that he played in 2015. 5 of them were good or decent at least. And then last year was just an embarrassment. That's what we're going to have? I don't know, man. So I don't care if we got Latavius Murray. I don't care who we have. I don't care if we have Alshon Jeffrey, which they were trying to get. I don't understand the reason for that. I don't care who we have. The fact is, if you don't have an offensive line, we're not going to do much. I can see another 8-8 season just so far. I know the draft is coming up. Maybe they can do something, add a couple of players, maybe move up in the draft, because you're wasting another year of this defense prime. Basically, we're in a win-now mode, and Rick Spielman, this is the most important offseason in his entire career. And so far, he's been real lackadaisical, just nonchalant, just, patchwork offensive lineman. Now, look, I like the Riley Reiff signing. I like Alex Boone. Hopefully he can bounce back. Last year he didn't have a great year, but I saw him with the Niners. Hopefully he can bounce back. Joe Berger, hopefully we can leave well enough alone, leave him at center spot. The right guard spot, that's up for grabs. I like Jeremiah Searles. The few games he played, I remember when he replaced, I believe, Alex Boone earlier last year. He played pretty good, so I don't mind him playing right guard, but I don't want him playing right guard automatically or as being right now he's the starting right guard because he played good a couple of games last year. I want to make sure that it wasn't a fluke, or at least that it wasn't a flash in the pan or whatever it is you want to call it. Let's see him compete against other right guard prospects, and then he can earn the right guard spot like that. And then right tackle, we've got Mike Remmers competing with TJ Clemmings. So I don't know what to say with that. We signed Case Keenum, and adding to that, as far as our backup quarterback now, I don't know what happened. Was it Tyler or Taylor Heineke? I don't know if maybe he hurt his foot real bad, worse than what we could have imagined when he broke into his own apartment by smashing the glass in by his door, or if he's regressed towards the end of last year. I don't know, during practice or whatever. The coaches see him more than we do. But Case Keenum, he's our backup quarterback now. And speaking of quarterbacks, Teddy Bridgewater posted a video of himself, throwing a football, basically, and not even pads and shorts, just basically shorts and a t-shirt to some guy out there. I don't know if it's a practice squad player or whoever it is, some friend he knows. But he was throwing a football pass, and he posted it on social media, I believe on Instagram. And I know Mike Zimmer, Coach Zimmer, he's like, look, I don't want Teddy Bridgewater. He's been quoted paraphrasing what he said earlier last week, but his whole thing is we don't want Teddy playing anywhere else. And a lot of fans are saying, well, who do you want? You want Teddy or Sam Bradford? Right now it's Sam Bradford, and that's the bottom line. And right now I'm not even so sure that Teddy Bridgewater can even come back and can recover from that. And yes, he can. Okay, let's say he recovers as far as physically. Who's to say? Because I can only imagine that he's not going to play much of 2017, if not at all, because I don't think he's going to play at all in 2017. If he does, maybe we have a train wreck of a season and you throw him in towards the end of the year. Maybe he gets back and healthy. We can see what he can do. But essentially, he's going to come back after missing 2 years if he comes back at all. And then who's to say that he's going to have the same accuracy that he had before he got hurt? So right now, we have to go with Sam Bradford. That's just what it is until we can see how Teddy Bridgewater recovers. We're not in any rush to sign Sam Bradford to an extension. We need to make sure that he can at least be good with a decent offensive line if Rick Spielman can go out and get one. But that's a whole nother conversation for a different day. Hopefully, Sam Bradford doesn't get hurt because he's had injury problems himself for basically his entire career. So we're not in any rush to extend Sam Bradford. I get that, you want to get the deal done as far if you're in the camp of Sam Bradford. But if you're unable to figure it out, worst case you do is you can franchise tag Sam Bradford and okay, move on to next year and just do it year to year. I believe Kirk Cousins, this is his second straight year getting franchise tag? There's no rush to do anything with Sam Bradford. But this whole, I want to see Teddy come back. I mean, if he could come back, because the one extra element that Teddy Bridgewater gives you over Sam Bradford is his ability to move around the pocket. Sam Bradford is a statue back there. If you can just get him protection, I believe he can find a receiver and throw receivers open better than Teddy Bridgewater, even though I believe Teddy Bridgewater is accurate. But we don't know what Teddy Bridgewater is going to be. So I think it's a little premature to sit here and say, well, let's see if Teddy can come back. I want him to come back so bad. I hate Sam Bradford. Sammy check down, throw him for 5 yards and all that stuff. I'm not going to go there just yet, but let's see. And Sharrif Floyd, suddenly we might be looking for a defensive tackle to play next to Linval Joseph full time because according to reports out there, he's going through further complications in the same knee that he's been dealing with from surgery at the beginning of 2016 season. We're talking about 3 months after the Vikings season ended, and they're talking about this is a career, possibly could end his career with the complications that he's having. So a lot of holes to fill. You talk about a slot corner position that's not filled, defensive tackle, offensive line, right guard and right tackle spot. There's still question marks. Right guard, maybe it can be okay if Jeremiah Stills picks up as the play that he did last year, which I think was pretty good. But right tackle spot is certainly a question, no doubt. So we're going to have to see how it goes. But anyway, up next, we're going to talk NBA. Playoffs approaching soon. Regular season is coming up to an end. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, everyone's just writing them off because defensively they've been god-awful pretty much ever since the All-Star break. I believe the last two and a half months, they've been terrible, winning by a hair. Is this the year that the Cleveland Cavaliers fall apart? Let's talk about that next. Realistic Randy, Mediocre at Best podcast.
Can change my lane, my way, my name is Trey. I made a way in a major